Hello. I just realized I hit start streaming and I was reading a text message. Hello. Welcome back. We're continuing work on the bunny drawing, and let's get started. Kind of made a mess on this desk because the cat jumped up here. Fun adjusting to the new cat. He's quite funny. My desk is not super stable, so it's really bumpy. So if you hear a little noise, I'm having construction done. Oh, there he is, in the back. So they're going to be jackhammering, so if it gets too loud, I'll probably stop streaming, but we'll try. Okay, so I just made my hands really dirty. Here we go. I'll use this. So we're going to continue kind of adding on, working where we left off on Tuesday. Here we go. Is that better? It's a little bit crooked. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move this direction, and I've added a couple more fun characters to the story. I've got a bear, hummingbird, a little giraffe. I've got a chimp, an owl, and an elephant. It makes perfect sense, right? I kind of want, it's like almost, when I think about this drawing, I think about, it almost feels staged like a play at this point, which I kind of like. I like all the animals confronting the viewer to tell this story. And my magnificent bun in the background. She's in her room right now. Because her and the new cat, she kind of was going after the new cat a little bit, so she's on a timeout. It's funny because you would think, oh, bunnies are really, like, they're scared of everything and you have to worry about them, but she was actually getting a little too aggressive with the new cat, and I didn't want to not be supervising them like I should be, so I had to put her in a room, and Albus is out now. And of course the whole other gang behind me. And he's trying to lick off his collar because he's not used to wearing it. Okay, so I'm going to start with shading on this new bear right here. Bears are so fun, so cool, and so fun to draw. See the lines a little bit better, maybe. Every time this camera bumps, it kind of resets. I look different? It's probably because I washed my hair and then I'm wearing it down. I usually have it up or in a braid. Oh, and I kind of dyed it pink, but you can't really see. My daughter and I went crazy with some like pink hair dye, and it didn't really stick. I think I have to do it a couple times. But it was kind of fun. Now she wants to dye her hair blue, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing blue, but you could do blue. I'll just stick with the pink. Oh, you feel like you missed a day? I was working on this since Tuesday, and I know we talked on Tuesday. I got to work on it on the side because I want to finish. What did he think of my pink hair? I don't think he cares. It's nice being an artist. You can kind of you get a lot of freedom. Yes, that's Albus in the back. Do you see him? Oh, here he comes out the door. Here he comes. He is definitely coming out of his shell. He's a funny guy. Um, I wonder if I can get it on camera, but if I throw his favorite little toy for him, he'll fetch it and bring it back. It's really cute. Hey, Elvis, you wanna come here? You wanna come here? He's starting to come when you call him too, which is cute. Come here, Elvis. I feel like it's a little bit fuzzy today. I don't know if I bumped the camera. What if I zoom in? Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. After Tuesday, I worked on it quite a bit. I wanna, well, I have the show coming up, so I kind of have to kind of move along. And I'm gonna start a new drawing soon that I'd like to stream. So I want to get this one to the point where I can finish it faster and get things ready to be framed. I feel like it's extra blurry today. I'm sorry about that. Oh, the show in LA is April 26th in Santa Monica, California. And that will be the opening. And it's usually set up for like 4 to 6 weeks. Average is, you know, a little over 4 weeks usually for the show. And that will be a lot of fun. I haven't shown in LA for, it's been 2 years now since I've had a show here. I have to rotate because I just can't. Obviously, it takes a long time to make enough artwork to fill a show. So last year was all out of state, and this year I get to show in LA again. Which is fun because I'm going to bring one of my big 25 feet drawings out to show, and I haven't shown that one in LA before, so that'll be fun to get that one out and seen again. Okay, you start to see some of it coming together here. What? Oh, that's so funny. They're like, this cat's really calm. And I was like, that cat is a spaz, and he's only calm because he was really sick when I got him. And now that he's almost better, he's just been spazzing around the house. Hey. I'm kind of switching to a darker pencil right now. I'm going to push these guys away from each other a little bit. Got this bear sitting in front of the ram. Here we go. So I'm just working on this separation here. I actually skipped straight to a 4B, which I usually don't do to the end. but I wanted to separate this guy out a little bit. He was blending too much into the ram. There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to go back to 2B. I was working with a B, now I'm going back to 2B. I can just hear that cat come in the room and be like, what's he doing? What are you doing? He's not to be trusted. Let me see if you can see him. See behind me? There he is. Like a shark under the table. But the good news, him and the other kitty, our old feral cat, they like each other, which is really exciting because she's not super friendly with other animals. It took her a long time, and then she loved the dogs, but our other cat that we had adopted, the senior cat we adopted, she never really took to him. And I kind of had to keep them separate because she would kind of back him into a corner and be kind of mean. So she really likes this cat, which is really nice and does a lot for the peace in the household. I was most nervous about her. Okay, starting to come out a little bit. You can see it. Just building up layers. I'm glad they haven't started jackhammering yet because it's been kind of a loud couple days in our backyard. I love drawing bear paws and feet. They have a cool pad on the bottom of their foot that's different than other animals. There we go. This foot's gonna come out here. And so instead of like one kind of circular oval kind of paw pad, it kind of like breaks into two. Well, this is interesting because it actually, the lines come darker here than it does on the paper, but you can actually see the shape of the pads a little bit better here. And usually when I'm doing bears, I either make the pads lighter or darker than the foot, but I think on this guy I want to make it darker. And their claw's going to come off the top. you can see the leg now. It's kind of folding and coming forward. And this right here would be kind of the belly, kind of flopped over and the extra skin. Because he's not truly sitting on his butt, he's kind of like curved, it's like curved, scooped his back. Oh my gosh, don't do that. He's playing with his collar. Hey, Elvis. I want to see if I can catch him. I probably can't. And show you his face. Come here, baby. Come here. He's like, no way. I know you want me to do something. Silly me. Trying to do something with a cat that doesn't want to participate. Hey, Elvis, come here. Soon he'll participate. They've got the coolest, hugest noses. I tend to draw the brown bears or grizzly bears more than the black bears, but I love black bears too. This one's got a little bit more of a black bear, I think. They might be a little bit pointier. My bears are kind of hybrid bears, obviously. But I love grizzly bears. They're just so amazing. Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining. Let's see, Mary Mac. Oh, very nice. Oh my gosh, that shows you how bad my eyesight is. I'm trying to read it off the TV. Thank you very much. Welcome. Bringing up the contrast now in the bear. This kind of belly area here. And I'm gonna kind of work back in here a little bit. I had to erase it away because I wasn't sure what I was doing, and now I know what I'm doing, so now I have to kind of add the tone back in. Not too much, but just enough so that it doesn't look super unfinished right here. So just add a tiny bit of tone here. I'm going to smooth it out. I don't want too much texture to show through here. I want your eyes to focus on the texture of these guys that are sitting in front of the bun. Oh my gosh, I forgot, I gotta call the vet to get results of the blood work. For the older cat, she was having, something was wrong with her mouth the other day. She was trying to eat and would like kind of squeal, so I took her to the vet and they did like a blood panel, and then they want me to call and make sure everything's okay. If everything's okay, I'm gonna get her teeth cleaned. I guess I have to put her, definitely have to put her under anesthesia because she's not like, I mean, they gotta dig deep and she's semi-feral, so. But that's okay, I have till noon, so I've got some time to call. Starting to come out here. Okay, let's smooth this guy out a little bit. Bump back some of the line work and trade it out for overall tone, and then I'll come back in. And kind of darken him up like this guy over here, add a little bit more contrast to him. Let's see, I'm working on a 2B right now. A little contrast here so you can see his nails better, which are so fun to draw. And pretty petrifying in real life to know like how much their claws actually come out of their hands. Oh, this led's broken. It just loosened up, I could feel it. That's probably from dropping it. Pencil should never be dropped. And as much as I know that, there's still times where I accidentally drop a pencil or the animals knock it down, and then they're never quite the same, because especially the softer lead pencils. Oh, my moose. Which moose? I know I've drawn several moose. What would the plural of moose be? Yeah, moose. Several moose. Is it the Jackson Hole moose? Oh, sorry. Just rotating on my desk. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the moose with the bras. Yeah, that's a fun one. I like that one too. I thought that's the one you were talking about. Yeah, staying in Jackson Hole was so cool. I got to see so many animals that I've drawn a lot, but got to see them in person. And there were so many. They have that, what is it, the elk preserve in Jackson Hole. I spent some time watching them over there. And that's where I met a guy that was traveling with his pet goat that was his pack goat, and it wore a pack with him so he could go out in the backcountry. That was so cool. I was riding in his truck with him, and he was just like, I was just walking from where I was staying to this where I was working, and this guy just like pulls up, and there was just a goat in his truck with him. That was really cool. Everybody's sleeping. So nice. You see everybody on the couch. And then Elvis is asleep right over here. There we go. Oh, thanks. Hello. Yeah, it's changed. I've been working on it quite a bit off the camera too. But at like weird hours of the day and night where I have no business streaming. Like when I get an idea or get some time. And soon, probably another month or two, the back will be ready for my new art studio. And then I'll be streaming from there. And then I could probably stream longer and at different hours. The electrical is going up this week. We had to, of course, upgrade our entire electrical panel, which I didn't know. So that was a fun surprise. Because I guess our box is so old and so small, like there was no room for anything else in it. Oh, nice. You get to see moose all the time. No, and it wasn't a dwarf goat. It was a huge goat. It was quite large, and they need to be large apparently for predators. But he also had a large dog too. But no, it was a really, really big goat. Really long, long face, like long neck, long legs, quite tall. Some kind of packing goat. Here in California, we have a lot. We have horse property, but a lot of kind of the horse property. A lot of people have like those little pygmy goats, and they're super adorable. But I don't think they're good for backcountry hiking or any of that. I can't remember the name. He had told me what kind of goat it was. But it was a big goat. So I have a type of hummingbird that I like to draw, and it's actually the type of hummingbird that lived on my front porch. We have this viney type thing on our front porch, and every year for it must be 4 or 5 years now, we've had families of hummingbirds come. And a couple years ago, they weren't the smartest babies, but I watched them from they were born, and I was literally having a cup of tea on the dining room table, and I watched them do their solo flight, and one went straight up into the tree, like 10 feet away, and the other one just went kind of like straight and then dropped, and then I kind of looked and I watched it hit my neighbor's fence and just drop. So I was like, oh shoot. So I ran over there and I pulled it out of some spider webs because it was just kind of like exhausted and stuck in the spider webs, and I was like, oh shoot, now what do I do? So I just got my ladder out and I kind of gently pressed him back down in the nest, and I think he was so petrified from his solo flight that he was in there for at least another week, and then I watched him fly to the tree. So it scared him straight. He was way too not ready to fly. Like, he needed more time. And I like to tell myself it's the one that comes back, because every year, like, it's right under my front door, so I get very familiar with the hummingbird, and it just stares at me. Gets not scared. But it's part of that lineage. I love hummingbirds. Oh, it's so cute. There's a patch of sun. Let me go this way. There's a patch of sun on the couch, and they're all kind of leaning to lay in it. Oh, they're so cute. I am so grateful to be able to work here and do this. So again, thank you for joining me and watching me do something that I'm very grateful to be able to do every day. I'm gonna give it a little bit more chest. I feel like it lost some of anatomy in the chest here of the bears, so I'm just gonna add this line in there. See what I did right here? Just to give it where the chest of the bear would kind of be folding. Just makes it, I think, a little bit more believable, a little bit more anatomically correct. Not that believability is my ultimate goal here, but accuracy, I think, helps in certain cases. Kind of working on the feathers on the hummingbird. So just like, almost like I would draw scales. Just one underneath the other. Thanks. I love my babies. It's that love. I love that they come back every year. to have their nest on my front porch, but then there's that kind of, you know what could happen, you know? We've had terrible windstorms and, oh, just this last year, I rescued one. We had a windstorm, flipped the nest upside down. Our old cat, who was 18, was sleeping on the front porch. And I come out there and there's this tiny little, maybe the size of my thumbnail, like pink thing. And I get down and it was a baby hummingbird. And I said, oh, he died. And I picked it up and it kind of lifted its little neck. So I picked it up and put it in my bathroom and I put a heating pad underneath, some tissue paper. I kept it alive with sugar water for 24 hours till the wind stopped. I put it back out there. The mom came back and he flew away a couple weeks later. He was the only baby in the nest. I don't know if the others blew away or if there was only one baby in the nest, but that was another one of the ones that survived. But it's kind of a lot of pressure. I feel like every time there's wind or rain, or I feed some stray cats out in the front yard, of course, because I'm the crazy pet person in the neighborhood. So I always have like extra food out in the front, and I'm always like, am I like feeding them hummingbirds? But they seem to be, they're so small. Like the cat didn't even notice the baby hummingbird on the ground because it was just so tiny. But it's so fun to watch them grow because when the baby hummingbirds get ready to fly out, they stick their little heads out in the nest. They don't fit anymore. And it just looks like such a tiny nest. And this like little guy wants to come out. I just love it. And they're super territorial too. And they like beat up the other hummingbirds that come too close. I love the animals that look super cute and super friendly, but when it comes down to it, they're like ruthless. And these hummingbirds, they're pretty ruthless when they want to be. With other hummingbirds, obviously. So I just sharpened this and only used it twice to get the beak of that hummingbird. Now I have to sharpen it again. I'm going to take a quick break. I juiced, oh my gosh, look what I juiced this morning. This was like all the leftover fruit that was going to go bad. So it's like cantaloupe, carrot, apple, and ginger. It's really good. And the nice thing about juicing, because everybody's worried about the waste. I mean, not everybody. Some people are worried about the waste after you juice, but I've got a bunny and a horse and dogs, and there's no waste to anything. The pulp goes to one of the animals, or so very as low waste as possible. Oh, the stress to take, yeah, I guess the only stress is I just worry about their safety. I don't have feeders set up, but the plant that they have their babies in has year-round flowers, and that's what they eat. And I've planted a whole bunch of native plants in my front yard. So there's plenty of natural food in, you know, here in California, you don't have to worry about things usually don't stop blooming all year. So it's been, I guess the only stress is I just worry about them. So yeah, and not to make myself really like I'm doing a lot for them. I'm not. I guess I just feel worried for them because I watch them every day. It even got to the point, what's that? One of the hummingbirds didn't like us coming out the front door, so for like a couple weeks we only used the back door. And then I was like, oh my gosh, we're nuts. Here are the wings coming here in the back. They're gonna go behind this bear's ears. we go. And I leave this, let me think, the hummingbirds a lot of times have a lighter bib around. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna highlight kind of like where these big, kind of more three-dimensional feathers are. There's usually like a lighter bib kind of right underneath it with a finer, more downy type feather. Can you see that coming a little bit? Kind of see it. There's like this white bib. It's pretty subtle. You have to in person you can see it, but it's quite subtle, which is what I want. These ears, I'm switching to a 4B. There we go. Separate him a little bit from the hummingbird. There we go. Oh, can you hear the sledgehammers? All the animals stood up. Oh, well, except Rufus. It's okay, guys. It's okay. So they have to bury the wires under the ground in the backyard, so they had to cut the concrete. Now they got to demo it out to run the line, which is going to be really interesting. Getting the horse out over a giant hole that's going to be in my backyard, so I'll have to figure that out. Move this direction. I've got this little giraffe, this tiny little giraffe. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm gonna have to sharpen my pencil, I think, almost every time. This guy's tiny. working the 2B right now. I think it's really hard to see the detail in the face of this giraffe considering how tiny it is. So what I probably need to do is post it on Instagram with a close-up so that you can actually see the details of this guy. I'll switch back to B for the spots. See the little spots on the giraffe coming. For the tutorial classes. For the hummingbirds. I should do it. I've been doing like bird rehab since I was a kid, and sometimes in the spring I used to have I have all these old hamster cages, and it's a lot of the fledgling age birds that just aren't safe on the ground, especially with cats around. I have them at different levels, and then I'd release them. And I've had squirrels, tons of birds, and of course a million other pets. But I don't do squirrel, or I don't really do the rehab anymore because the Humane Society here has a wildlife center in it, so you can actually bring them, and it's better that way because when they release them in the wild, they release them with buddies, and so it's a much better situation. I brought the last squirrel I caught. It was in the middle of the street. Somebody had cut down a tree, and it saw me and ran right up to my foot. I just picked it up and put it in my baseball cap and drove it to the animal shelter, and they had a whole cage full of the same age squirrels. It was so cute. Oh, just shading in dimension. Yeah, that would be good. Shading in dimension is I'm really great with my words today, but I love doing a line drawing of something and then just sitting and turning it volumetric. It's hard to see here, but there's a different texture to these animals here. Oh, yeah, it's all relative, right? It's certain things that I'm like, oh, I could do that. And then normal tasks, what was it the other day I freaked out about? My car emergency light went on and I was like, I can't drive it. Oh my gosh, what's wrong? And all it needed was some oil. And I had totally freaked out and couldn't problem solve it. But you give me 30 feet of drawing and tell me to draw, animals, half of them from memory, and telling a story, and I'd be like, you got it. No problem, no stress. Just, but my oil light goes on in my car and I'm completely lost for several hours trying to figure out what went wrong. Or this construction stuff, man, this has been stressful trying to figure out contractors and getting a permit and all that has been like crazy. Now they're jackhammering. I hope it's not too loud. Oh, sorry guys. I gotta go check on the horse. I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna look out the back window, make sure he's good. Okay, he's fine. He's eating. I put a lot of hay out there this morning to keep him busy. He seems okay. Just gave this bear some. Yes, yeah, that's right, Kim. So most of my work, especially when I'm working with animal texture, is done with, it wouldn't be true cross-hatching. It would be just marks. A lot of times it's just one direction. Sometimes it goes back over it. And then I blend small works, usually with a Q-tip or paper towel, and then I build a layer on top of it by adding more hash marks, maybe add more pressure, maybe switch my pencil to a different lead intensity, and then that's how I do it, just building one layer upon layer upon layer. So just added a really light layer of hatching. And at this point, you have to get super, super close to see some of these layers of hatch and line work on top of the tonal work. I've kind of got this profile of chimp here. It's hard to see, but I think I'm going to have him holding an owl. Oh my gosh, that's loud. Hope it's not super loud for you guys. Oh, actually, that's an excellent question. I'd have to actually look. I think I'm going to say what I normally do is the first layer is further apart and it's more of a general tonal work. So let's look here, the shadow underneath this chimp's arm. This is my first layer that I did here just to put where the shadow would be. And they're quite rough and they're quite far apart. And so let me see. Let's see what I actually do. I don't think about it, but now I'm blending it with my Q-tip that's got tone on it already. And I might as well just tone this whole guy. And now when I go back over it, I'm going a different direction now, and it's a much finer line. So I think the answer to that question is it starts off a little bit rougher and a little bit whiter and more general, and then as it's working its way to finish, they become much closer and more kind of deliberate, because those are the lines that you'll really see. That was an excellent question. I can't believe I never really thought about it, but thank you for asking that. So yeah, just kind of layers and layers, and then the closer to finish, the finer the layer of work. Yeah, because this is pretty rough right now what I'm doing. It's just kind of like really loose. Almost squiggly lines at a certain point. Oh, well, they all gone back to sleep, so they're okay. Oh, excuse me. I forget I have to move every once in a while. Kind of jammed my wrist in Muay Thai. So I'm taking a few days off until it gets better. Right now I'm still using the B, kind of on my first layer. I've been switching from the B to 2B quite often. I pulled in the 4B a little bit here, a little bit here to push away from here, and a little bit here to separate the hummingbird from the bear. But right now is a 2B, is a B. But I am going to switch right now to a 2B because now I'm going to push some of that contrast. So I'm working right now on the arm, or the far arm of the chimp. Now if I did that with B, you wouldn't have seen this much contrast. Okay, good with time. I've got a few more minutes. At noon I have to call the vet and make sure Kitty's blood work is good. Just had an idea. I want to put something right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reserve the space by just erasing it. That's going to give me, and now I got to think about it. But I'm going to reserve that space right there where I just erased out. I'm not going to put anything there. Oh, I just said I'm not putting anything there, and what did I do? But I did it with a tone, and you can see how easy that is to erase. That's why the Q-tip's such a valuable tool when you don't have a pre-planned composition. So you can just remove it. What I did was just the highlight of the upper part of the ear, the curve of the ear. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Noise is stressing out Albus. Okay. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, I probably should be going. I've got to call the vet now and make sure blood work's okay, and the jackhammering is driving me a little bit bonkers. Having a hard time focusing. Ah! Anyways, thank you so much for joining. And what's today? Thursday? I should be back on Tuesday, if not sooner. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. Find me on Instagram or Facebook, or and now YouTube. So thank you again for everything, and I will see you guys soon.